Welcome back, my faithful Legionnaires, to a long-awaited episode of GTA 5 mod reviews slash showcases, which are more showcases. Now, first of all, I do apologise for the long wait between episodes. It's just a pain in the ass with my computer at the moment. It is only working sometimes. I need more RAM, but life is just being a right pain in the ass of funds at the moment. So, I hope you understand, and we'll stay with the channel regardless. But having said that, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help us out. I mean, we're up to 220, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. So thank you for your support, and I hope to see more of you here. Now, without further ado, let's move on with today's episode. We are standing next to our faithful Mr. Titan, which we don't have to hop in today because our ship that we are looking at is, boom, right here, which is the V-19 from Star Wars The Clone Wars animated series. I think it does make a brief appearance in the actual movies. Don't quote me on that. I'm probably wrong, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, let's get into our camera mode. Now, first of all, this model is absolutely fantastic. Personally, I think it needs a bit more of an update. There's more textures on it and whatnot, but overall, it is quite good for what it is. It has two forms of takeoff, which I will show you. It has like the runway takeoff and vertical takeoff, which is the one we're going to be doing today. It also has the afterburners. They don't really work all the time, but they do work sometimes depending on how the game wants to work, and they do light up somewhat, so that's pretty cool. It does also have lights right around here somewhere. You can't really see them through all that kind of stuff, but there is lights there that do illuminate the area. Now, when you do spawn it in, it will come out completely white, so you have to just go through your mods menu and customize the coloring, which is the secondary color, and then you can put it to whatever color you want. I went with your traditional clone color that you've seen these things as, so it just gets the point across. Weapons, it has your standard missiles and machine guns, which I can try to do in this episode, but I'm probably not going to, just because it usually likes to lag out, and we're trying so hard not to lag out today. Like I said though, overall the model itself is absolutely fantastic, but it does need an update. It looks a bit blockish in certain areas, like the guns there. Also, when you do fire the guns in the wings closed position, they still fire from out in where they would be if they were folded out. That's just a little glitch, but that's okay. We do have a working canopy, which is pretty cool. Personally, I think the cockpit's alright. Could use a bit more of a Star Wars-esque kind of look, but like I said, it gets the point across. And as per usual, if you want this mod, and also the clone armor, they will be in the description below if you want them. But yes, the cockpit is quite good. Now, I do apologise if this thing does glitch out a little bit in the air. I will probably try and paste it together from what I can get, so please bear that in mind. And also, just before I forget, the landing gear does retract, so it looks seamless when you're flying. Now, a quick touch up on the clone. It's just a standard Phase 2 clone armor. Nothing too fancy. I personally still prefer Phase 1. That is my personal favourite because I grew up on Attack of the Clones. That was my favourite movie when I saw it at the cinemas when it first came out. Showing my age a bit, but yes, just a standard armor, nothing fancy on it, but I thought it would be good for this episode. Now, without further ado, let's hop inside the V-19. But personally, out of all Star Wars like clone ships, one of my personal favorites is the Z95 Headhunter, but it has to be the right one. Alrighty, here we go. As I said, there is some little lights just there. Let's see if we can get a slightly closer look. There we go. I think that's as close as we can get, but that's alright. So like I said, the sublight engines and thrusters light up, so up we go. Ooh. And like I said, open and close, there we go. And off we go. And like I said, the thrusters work sometimes. I've been able to get it to work all three thrusters once or twice, but pretty much it just kind of wants to do its own thing, which is fine. It works and gets the point across. So what we'll do, Legionnaires, is do some flying around, and then we'll try one of our epically bad endings and then close out the episode. So enjoy the flying around. Alrighty, Legionnaires, there we go. We had the weapon systems firing, so that is always good to know that it actually worked for us today. And we're not having too much lag, so that is always good in my books. Now we're going to attempt our landings, and it is a good time to actually do it because it's heading into morning. I think so. Alright, here we go. And there we go, we made it on the ground, safe and sound. So what we'll do, Legionnaires, is pop out of the cockpit and close out the episode. There we have it, Legionnaires, safe and sound on the ground once again, next to the beautiful V-19, which, like I said, could use a bit of an update, especially now that you can see it in the sunlight, and next to our Nissan Titan. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as it really does help us out. It helps the YouTube algorithms figure out that you want to see more of this content, so please bear that in mind. And that's about it for this episode, Legionnaires. I hope to see you in the next one, whenever that one will be, hopefully soon, and it'll hopefully be another, maybe even another Star Wars related episode, or something else. There's a few ships I want to have a look at soon, and I'm hoping they'll work. So, Legionnaires, until then, we'll see you in the next one.